A few months ago, I edited a YouTube video for one of my clients using Outlier Theory. And, you know, I think you guys already know what Outlier Theory is. It's a popular strategy for YouTube video ideas, right? And almost everybody uses it. It's pretty simple. I found a format, it was working somewhere else, and I kind of replicated that structure. And yep, come up with this idea, which has gained like, this is about 800,000 views, by the way. Now, by pretty much any standard, that's a big win because the channel was averaging two to 3,000 views, right, before working with me. But one of our videos now gained almost 100,000 views and it is still climbing. I noticed something that actually bothered me. So when I was working towards next YouTube ideas, somehow I was not starting with the topic anymore, right? Because we got a win. We got a massive win using Outlier Theory, right? Like naturally my process was changing, right? I was instead of starting with the topic or understanding my audience, I was just scrolling through YouTube, right? And hunting for formats, hunting for outliers, right? And I built this whole list of YouTube videos, right? The outlier videos, that these are the structure that I'm gonna steal, I'm gonna replicate, and I was pretty confident that these videos are gonna work, right? It was a quiet shit, but it started to make me feel like that I was just replicating the whole YouTube channel from some other creator. It still gets you views, but it just stops being about what you actually wanted to say in the first place. And that's when it hit me. Outlier strategy can work a lot like a drug. Yeah, except that it breaks the viewers. It gets you the quick win, it gives you the mass reach. But once you start using it, right, naturally your whole instinct, your whole process is gonna start depending on it, because that's a quick win, that's an easy win. And before you assume that I'm totally against outlier theory, I'm not. I know that I'm still gonna use it, because again, outlier theory is generally one of the best tools for reach that exists if used smartly. It can give you 60 to 70% success ratio. Like if you're creating 10 videos, 6 to 7 videos can perform really well. If you're hunting for the correct outliers. For pretending that it doesn't work, it's just, it's gonna be an ego talking. The big problem is letting it dominate your whole content strategy, which was about to happen with me. Because once your content strategy is dominated by outlier truly, you will become the second version of someone else, right? The whole persona that you have, the whole persona around your personal brand, the differentiation is not gonna be there. Because it's not just your content, it starts to feel generic. It's that you can be saying something genuinely valuable, right? Something with completely different take, and it still won't land the way it should. Because your packaging, your branding, right, the whole vibe of your channel, of your content, and your approach is built on someone else's outlier. You're not the original anymore. And you will be the second version of the guy who first did it. I mean, we literally have live examples in front of us. Like, for example, can you name more than 3 to 4 creators who use the POV title format, right? I know the first name that will come to your mind, or maybe the first two names that will come to your mind. The one is gonna be Daniel Dallin. He didn't invent blogging or creating that kind of content that he was creating, but he made that specific format his, and now it's permanently attached to him. Psychologically, whenever we will see that kind of branding on YouTube in a business industry, right, we will attach that to Daniel Dallin. And when he was trending, there were thousands of creators who started replicating and copying his style. And we have never heard of almost any of them. Not because their content was bad, but because they were the second version of Daniel Dallin, right? This is what I'm trying to say. That if we depend solely on outlier strategy, your content is gonna fall flat, right? Like it's gonna hurt your brand in the longer run. But there are many creators as well who have their own style. Channels like this, Keith David, he has a really different style of content, right? The Doctor's Kitchen, again, own branding, own style, right? Something which we know that it's not replicated, right? Nero Knowledge, right? Another example. QNB, you can see that as well. And I think one of the best example is this brand, QO's Studio, right? I'm pretty sure that you guys have at least stumbled upon their one of their videos. They have their own style, right? They have their own framing of the titles, the thumbnail packaging. Overall branding is not heavily replicated from any big brand or any big creator. So yeah, different industries, different personalities, completely different reasons. Someone can't just copy them. But there's a main question: how you actually execute this kind of content strategy. It starts from the base actually. Like if you are ideating a YouTube video, Just do this exercise before coming up with any video idea. And this is the part which is actually, fixing it for me as well, right? So think of it as two faces of the same coin, right? There are a couple of questions that you have to answer yourself. And believe me, you will be so clear with your content and strategy that the ideas will start flowing naturally. So one side faces inward. You got two faces of the same coin. One side faces inward toward you, the other face outward towards the person you're actually making this for. You need both before you touch a single outlier, right? The first side of the coin isn't mine. It's from Caleb Robertson. Uh, he calls it the brand journey framework, right? One of the best strategies out there. And it's four questions. What outcome do you actually want from this? What would you need to be known for make the outcome likely? The third question, what you need to do to become known for this? And what do you need to learn in order to do these things? So that is the phase one. Now, but there's a second side as well, right? The second side is one I added myself after I felt like something was still missing, right? According to my condition. And this side is for your audience, right? Understanding your audience. So four questions that you have to answer. Who exactly is this content for? What sophistication level are they already at on this topic? What visuals and tone does your specific industry's audience actually respond to? That is a super crucial question that you have to answer. And what's your own personality and how does your delivery actually reflect that in your titles, in your thumbnails, your visuals, right? Because naturally your content, the way that you're delivering your content, right? Each dialogue that you are delivering is gonna reflect your personality. So if your whole packaging is around that somehow, right? Your whole branding will be on spot. Let's actually run this exercise on someone. I'll make the personality up, but the process is exactly what you would do with your own content, with yourself. So let's say a sleep coach. We are following this exercise for a sleep coach, right? So a sleep coach for exhausted parents, right? She's in mid-30s. She has a nature. She's calm, dry sense of humor, right? Currently getting 3 to 5,000 views with generic titles like, 5 tips for better sleep, or maybe some other how-tos, right? So the phase one, understanding herself, right? So let's say the first question is, what outcome does she actually want from this? So she wants to fill her expensive one-on-one coaching program, right? Not maximize reach. Second question, what would she need to be known for? The answer is the person who explains why generic sleep advice fails parents specifically. The third question is, what would she need to do to become known for that? Consistently show the real mechanism instead of generic checklists, right? And the fourth question, what does she need to learn? The answer is how to translate her clinical training into content that doesn't sound like a textbook, right? So that's the first side of the coin that you just answered. Now, in order to answer the phase two, understanding her audience, this is how we're going to follow. So for the first question is, who exactly is this for? Exhausted parents specifically, not general sleep seekers. What sophistication level are they already in? High on generic sleep tips, they've seen them all, right? Low on anything specific to parent-related sleep disruption. Third question, what visual and tone does this audience respond to? Real light in home visuals, not polished studio aesthetics, right? The fourth question, what's her personality and how should delivery reflect it? So again, we know that her personality is calm and dry, so delivery should sound like a smart, tired friend, not a clinician. So how all of these answers gonna reflect her content, right? So before, let's say, before answering any of this, her title probably looks like 5 sleep mistakes you're probably making, right? Generic thumbnail, fast, energetic delivery could belong to literally any sleep account on the platform, right? After answering both sides of the coin, it becomes something like this. Her video title will become something like, why no screens before bed doesn't work when you have a toddler. So that's how you can build a better content strategy if you just don't solely depend on Outlier, right? You can use Outliers, like the ratio that you can have is something like, if you're uploading 8 videos a month, you should do 2 Outliers, right? For the safer side. But the 6 videos must follow strong content strategy that you have come up with. And this is the quickest way that you can follow. Just answer these 4 questions, right? You don't have to watch this whole video again. Just, give this transcript to Claude and just take out these questions and answer them on your own. So this is something which I am doing myself, and I'm really hoping that this works for you as well, right? If you guys have any more questions, you can drop them in the comment section. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you.